This is a docudrama, more of a drama, really, but it's very informative. In this film, I want to tell the story of the life and death of the last Tyrannosaurus, who lived 66 million years before us, before humans. The film isn't very long, but in it I tried to capture the drama and laughter, the emotions and love that might have been characteristic of that era, the Cretaceous period. I hope you enjoy my film, my take on that era. So, without further ado, let's watch the movie. It's a film about a Tyrannosaurus Rex, Thorne, the last king.
"66 million years ago. A time when the very breath of the planet was hot. Here, in a cradle of mud and ferns, the life of the most perfect predator in Earth's history begins. His name is Thorne. He weighs less than 3 kilograms right now, and for him, every shadow is a death sentence. He doesn't yet know that fire flows through his veins, a fire that will one day make the mountains tremble. But for now, he just needs to survive until dawn. His first breath, his first tentative steps. Thor chases a dragonfly, tripping over his own paws. He looks too harmless to be a king. His mother went hunting. Thorne, his brother, and his sister fell silent. One of the Thorne brothers disappears into the darkness. A Caroraptor emerges from the ferns, a swift, feathered predator. We can hear it hissing. Here's the first lesson. The world won't wait for you to grow up. 2 years have passed. We see a scene from a hunting lesson. Thorne's mother has driven a wounded young Edmontosaurus into the clearing. She doesn't kill it, but gives Thorne and his sister a chance. Thorne tries to attack his prey from behind, but it knocks him off his feet with a single blow. He looks confused and hurt. Thorne discovers that his main weapon is not only his teeth, but also his extraordinary sense of smell. He tracks down the hidden prey by following a trail that no one else can see. For a young Tyrannosaurus, adolescence isn't about rebellion. It's about endless hunger. Thorne is learning to understand the language of the forest. He discovers that his jaws are a tool, and his brain is his greatest ally. The T-Rex isn't just a killing machine, he's a strategist. But look at him. He's still a child seeking his mother's approval after a successful throw. Soon, this world will be too small for him. Thorne is 10 years old. He is entering a phase of rapid growth. He is already larger than any other predator, but not yet strong enough to challenge the adults. His mother drives him away. It's the law of nature. Thorne tries to return, but she growls so loudly that the trees tremble. The hardest lesson is loneliness. A kingdom isn't inherited, it must be taken by force. Thorne has been cast out of the paradise of his childhood. Now every scar on his skin will tell the story of his mistakes. He is learning to be invisible despite his size. A great hunter is born in the shadow of defeat. His first rainy season alone, Thorne is starving. He finds the carcass of a Triceratops, but is chased away by an older, scarred male of his own species. Thorne is hiding in the woods, licking his wounds. Another 8 years have passed. The fluffy teenager we once knew is no longer here. This is Thorne in his prime, around 18 years old. He weighed 8 tons, and his skin had become as rough as the bark of an ancient oak, covered in battle scars. Now the ground trembles beneath his footsteps, not out of fear, but out of reverence. Thorne is no longer a fugitive. He is the law. His jaws are strong enough to crush bones as thick as a tree trunk, but right now they're as soft as silk as he greets Leah. In this harsh world, he has found something worth fighting for, the continuation of his lineage. He is at the height of his power, and it seems as though it will last forever. An encounter with a female named Leah. This isn't a fight, but a complex ritual. Thorne brings her a carcass. We witness a rare display of tenderness. 2 giants rubbing noses, making soft, cooing sounds. It's the calm before the storm. An intruder has entered the Thorne territory. A huge, old male whom we'll call Scar. In the world of the Tyrannosaurs, there is no room for 2 kings. It is a dance of death, where a single mistake means oblivion. Every bite exerts tons of pressure. Every collision is like a small earthquake. Thorne isn't just defending a territory, he's defending the future. And today, death has retreated. The atmosphere is changing. The sky is taking on a strange yellowish hue. The birds fall silent. The animals begin to behave strangely, mass migration, panic. Thorne and Leah are standing on the ocean shore. We see a bright spot in the sky that keeps getting bigger, but it's not a star. Nature made Thorne perfect. He defeated all his enemies and survived famine and drought. But how does one fight against what falls from the sky? Gravity and space know no mercy. Thorne senses that something is wrong. His instincts, honed over millions of years, are screaming of a danger that cannot be bitten or driven away. He tries to lead Leah and their grown cubs deeper into the forest, but the air grows dry and hot. On this final afternoon of the age of the dinosaurs, Thorne gazes at a light brighter than 1,000 suns. The end of his world is already upon him. The sky is ablaze. We see the asteroids descend not from space, but through Thorne's eyes, as a blinding flash that, for a moment, turns the day into an unnaturally white nightmare. In an instant, the rules of the game changed forever. Muscle strength and sharp teeth no longer matter. Thorne, with the blood of a victor coursing through his veins, faces an enemy he cannot challenge to a duel. It is chaos, but even as the world crumbles around him, something greater than a predator's instinct awakens within him. It is love, a strange, incongruous word for a monster, but he does not abandon his own. Several months had passed. Dust and ash blocked out the sun. An asteroid winter had set in. The landscape had turned monochrome. Gray snow, black tree skeletons. Thorne had lost a lot of weight. His regal bearing had given way to a heavy, exhausted gait. Leah was injured. A tree trunk had fallen on her during the earthquake, and she was limping.
Thorne is hungrier than he has ever been in his life, but his hunger is dulled by a strange sense of duty. He is the king, and a king's duty is to protect his people, even if those people consist of nothing more than a single female and a frightened cub. His body is his prison, but his will is steel. The valley where Thorne was once born. Now it is a wasteland. Leah and the cub have grown strong enough to head south, where life may still survive. But Thorne senses that his journey has come to an end. Old wounds from his battle with Shram and the effects of breathing in the ash have worn away at his heart. Leah calls to him with a low growl, but he merely nudges her gently with his nose, guiding her forward toward the horizon. She understands. He did not die defeated. He died having fulfilled his greatest duty, passing the torch of life on to the next generation. His bones will turn to stone, and his story will become a legend. Millions of years from now, We will look at its enormous skull and feel a sense of awe. Not because it was a monster, but because it was alive. It loved, it suffered, it fought. Thorne, the last king, you will remain forever in the heart of the earth itself.
Many people will wonder, if Thorne was the last of the tyrannosaurs, what happened to his wife and baby? After all, they survived, so Thorne and the tyrannosaurs must have had descendants, or were there no more tyrannosaurs after them? That's an excellent and very profound question, one that gets to the very heart of the tragedy of extinction. As a director, I infused this ending with the bitter truth of nature, blended with artistic symbolism. Unfortunately, Leah and her cub were among the last of their kind. In biology, there is a concept known as functional extinction. When a population shrinks to a critical minimum and the habitat is destroyed, no forests, no food, poisoned air, the species is doomed, even if individual members are still alive. Aaliyah's fate: she could have lived a few more years, leading her cubs south, but the lack of a food source, huge herds of herbivores, would have made her life a constant struggle. Without Thorne, who helped with protection and hunting, her chances were dwindling. The fate of the juvenile, it most likely never reached maturity. The Hell Creek ecosystem collapsed. Young tyrannosaurs needed decades to grow into giants, but the planet no longer had those decades of peace. Thorne was the last king of a great dynasty. His son will never wear this crown, for the world of the golden giants has been reduced to ashes. But life itself proved more cunning than disaster. It shrank, hid itself in feathers, and learned to fly. Every time you see a hawk in the sky or hear a bird cry in the forest today, know this: in their gaze still lives a fragment of that very fearlessness that once belonged to Thorne. Thorne was the last of the great tyrannosaurs, the one who embodied an era of power. His wife and child became ghosts of the past. They lived out their days in the twilight of the world, slowly fading away along with millions of years of history. Their deaths were not in vain. They were the final chord of the most majestic symphony nature has ever played. There were no more tyrannosaurs on Earth, but their relatives, birds, carried on, bearing within them the genetic memory of their great ancestor.
So, you've just watched a film about the Cretaceous period, about the last Tyrannosaurus. That makes the ending truly honest. I didn't deceive the audience with a happy ending that never happened in history, but I did let the audience feel the connection between the ages. Thanks to everyone who watched until the end. I hope you liked my idea, concept, and script. I plan to make more films like this in the future. I'm already writing a new script for my next film. Subscribe to my channel, and key Terra, and don't miss the chance to see many more fascinating things from ancient times that I want to share with you through my own perspective.
Subscribe to my channel and key Terra. It's so easy to click the button, and it would mean the world to me. Thank you for watching my videos. There's lots more interesting content coming. Subscribe.